Hello and welcome back to SandraStitches Crochet. In this episode, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and it's texture crochet. I want to show you some of my favorite stitches and how I incorporate different stitches in the same project so it gets really texture, because we don't have to make really complicated projects to make them beautiful. I believe that we can use different stitches combinations and make that are simple and not very difficult, and make our projects shine and be so beautiful that everybody will love them and want to wear them or use them or, do something with them. So let's get started. Right. Excuse me. So I usually, when I come to start to design a new project, the first thing that I think about is what kind of stitch will I want to use in this particular project. And it depends, of course, of the what the project will be, if it's a scarf or if it's a top or if it's a hat or a beanie or whatever. But also I look at the yarn and see what kind of yarn I'm using for this project and what kind of stitches will be best used and best shine when using this yarn. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm Sandra from SandraStitches. You can join my free Facebook group where our community is there and we discuss all these topics. And of course, you can go to my blog, SandraStitches.com, and see all my free patterns there. Let's get back to the topic. So I usually look at stitch combinations that are using the basic stitches and are not so complicated to work with, but I can use them in different ways so that they give my project a really fun and statement, like it makes a statement. The project makes a statement, okay? So we'll start with one of my favorites. It's a scarf that I made and was featured in one of the crochet magazines. I like crochet or Happily Hooked. I think it was Happily Hooked, that it's closed now. It was featured there, Happily Hooked, yes, about a year or a year and a half ago, something like that. As you can see, I used here two different stitches combined in the scarf to give it a lot of texture, using only one color of yarn, but as you can see, it's really popping up. So here I use the Jacob Ladder stitch, which is a kind of a mock cable that I really love, and I use it in a lot of other of my projects. And this one, if you can see, it's a kind of a little bubble puff. I don't really know if it has a name, but it's a very simple, I call it the small puff stitch, because it's just single crochet, treble, single crochet, treble. So when you use these two together, you get a really nice texture for your project. It's not complicated. You can, make it as you want. You can find the patterns of all the projects that I will show you in my Ravelry, SandraStitches, or some of them are free in my blog. So just look for them there. And yeah, so this is the first one that I used two different stitch combinations that are really simple, and it came out very texture and very nice in a one color yarn. right? The second one I want to show you is using a variegated yarn. So when you're using variegated yarn, in my opinion, of course, this is my opinion, you have to let the yarn shine, because the colors of the yarn, they take over everything, and you cannot really use some very texture stitches because you cannot see them sometimes. All right, this is my opinion, this is how I work. So when I'm using variegated yarn, and this is an example, I just love these colors combination. So I always look for stitches that are more open, more not very condensed stitches. Like I wouldn't use the ladder, the Jacob ladder with this yarn, because it wouldn't show. I think it wouldn't show. Even though I did use it, I don't have it here, with another variegated yarn, but it was very, very kind of subtle, kind of mute colors, so it did show. What I usually do, I look for open kind of stitches, and I let the color shine. Just let the color shine and see the color combination here in the yarn. It's a self-strip yarn. Because it's a very open stitch, in this particular scarf, it's called the Nordic Trails. There is the Nordic Trails scarf, and there is the Nordic Trails shawl. It's a triangle shawl. I use the same yarn, but different stitches. Why Nordic Trails? Ask me, because if you look at these color combinations, it really, really reminded me of our trip to Scandinavia. You know, all these Nordic colors of the blues and the grays and the greens and the browns of the mountains, and I don't know, I just loved it. So I called it the Nordic Trails, and this scarf is using a kind of shell. It's a kind of a shell V-stitch kind of combination. Of course, you can find the pattern for this one. I think it's free on my blog. So if you go to SandraStitches.com and look in the scarves and shawls section, you will find it free on my blog or in my Ravelry store, okay? So this one, I use this open stitch, and also with these really nice pompons here. I love these pompons. I use them quite a lot. And yeah, so this is what I do when I have a really nice self-strip yarn or variegated yarn, and I want the colors to shine and to show up. So I choose a very open stitch combination. Yeah, as you can see, there's only one part with the pompons and one part without pompons. So this is my second project. Now, look at this one, okay? If we are talking texture, the arrow stitch is a very texture stitch. And here I use two colors. Of course, you can use one color, but this is a really, really texture stitch, right? It uses front post trebles, and it's not complicated. It just looks complicated, but once you get the way of it, it's not complicated, and it gives you such a texture for your project. It's incredible. Of course, here I used, I think it's weight 5 yarn, so it's more bulky. I wanted it to be really soft and very cozy because it's a cowl, right? We want it to be cozy so it keeps us warm. And of course I wanted the stitch, even though it's a very, very textured stitch, I wanted it to shine, so I used two colors. I wanted really to make it look very, very textured. Also, it gives like the geometric definition to it, and I really like it. I did this line in the middle, so it gives a little bit more of a uniqueness and something that stands out, because it's kind of like half and half. Again, this pattern, it's part of our From Us to You. It's a crochet challenge, donation challenge that we are running now, the time that I'm filming this video, in my blog, together with another designer, Helen from Sunflower Cottage Crochet. So we are running together a donation challenge, and this was the first pattern for this challenge. I think people really loved it, and I hope that whoever gets it is donated to is having a great time wearing it. You can find all details about our crochet donation challenge in my blog, SandraStitches.com. If you look at the tab that says crochet alongs, you'll find it there. And so the free pattern is in my blog, and it's in the donation challenge, and you can find it on Ravelry as well. So this stitch combination, which is the arrow stitch and combined with this line in the middle, very textured, and using two colors. All right, let's go to the next one. For the next one, I have a very new pattern that I just released, and it's a beanie. Now, there are thousands of beanies out there. I know there are many beanies. They are very textured, and you know, they have all these stitch combinations and are amazing. In this particular beanie, I used two stitches, and I combine them in such a way that it will make it more easy for us to get the cap of the beanie really nice. So as you can see, I use the Suzette stitch, simple stitch, no problems here, but I also use the back loop single crochet here for the brim, and I use slip stitch here, you cannot see it, for the cup. So 3 different stitches in one row. This was made in rows, not in rounds. So doing the slip stitch here for the cup, it gets really small, very small, and also closes the cup a lot better. And using, of course, the back loop, I don't remember if it's single crochet or half double crochet here for the brim, and the Suzette stitch for the beanie to give it a lot of texture. So this is how I like to incorporate and put together stitches so that my projects are you know, easier to make, but look really difficult or really interesting and unique. This pattern you can find in my Ravelry. It's a new pattern. I just released it at the time that I'm filming this video, so you can find it in my Ravelry. It's yeah. The next one, I have a top. Now, 2 tops. Look at this, right? This is a top using the most easy stitch, the treble, that goes really fast. As you can see, it's a treble crochet and single crochet, treble crochet, single crochet, treble crochet, single crochet, and using just rectangles. All right, of course, making here the opening for the neck. And because I'm always looking for something to add to make it unique. And again, as I say, not very difficult. So I use these pompons, the same pompons from the previous scarf. I use them here in the neck opening and here in the bottom of this top. This top, this pattern, you can find it on my Ravelry. It's not free on the blog yet. Maybe it will be in the future, but for now, you can find it in my Ravelry. It's very easy. It comes in one size because I tell you how you can measure yourself and see how many stitches you need for your size. All my garment patterns are like this. I don't grade them and give you exactly how many stitches for each size because I think everybody is different and you don't have the same size in all parts of your body. So I prefer that you measure yourself and then you can know how many stitches you need. And also all of my garments patterns are rectangles or very simple, not something that you have to reduce stitches or put more stitches, increase or decrease. No, it's usually something very simple shape, but as you can see, if you add an interesting finish or you use a texture stitch combination, so you get something really amazing and beautiful. Of course, this top I made it with acrylic yarn, but you can make it with cotton yarn, so it's great for the summer. You can add sleeves if you want to make it more wintry. You know, it's up to you. So this is one of my tops. And the last one that I want to show you, because I've been talking a lot, is another top that is using one stitch combination again. This is it's called the peephole stitch. Very simple stitch. I think it's a 2-row repeat, if I can remember. 2-row repeat using the same stitch with one color. It's a rectangle, all right? It's a rectangle. It doesn't look like a rectangle, but it is a rectangle. So it's very simple. But when you use a stitch combination that is interesting and then you add interesting features to your project, it doesn't matter if it's a scarf or if it's a top or a shawl or whatever, or a cowl. So you make it more to stand out, right? All right, let's pause here a minute because we are ending now. English is not my first language, and as you can see or hear me, sometimes I don't find the right words, but I am sure that you can understand what I mean, right? Right. So this is the last top that I want to show you. What I did here is I made 2 rectangles using this stitch combination that is actually just double crochet and chains, right? Look how beautiful and how textured it is. But then I added a different color, so it pops up, so the peephole stitch pops up, And I made this interesting thing on the shoulders and in the, so it gives a little bit of interesting and uniqueness to the shape of the top. This pattern is also only on my Ravelry for now. It's not free on my blog, but you can find it on my Ravelry. And if you follow me on Instagram, or if you are on my email list, which when you go to my website, you will get a pop-up to sign up for my email list. There are always coupon codes going on my email list, coupon codes going on in my free Facebook group, which you are all invited to join. So you want to get those coupon codes so you can get my patterns on Ravelry. So as I said, this is the last project that I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed this episode talking about textures and stitch patterns and how you can combine them. I use this method all the time, and I am always looking for new stitches, new combinations, new things that I can do, new unique adds that I can put into my projects, so it becomes really, really beautiful for you. This is it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Bye for now.